is important. At least it is in my world, and therefore maybe it is in somebody else's too. I don't want to be so presumptuous as to assume that it will be. But we're going to talk about something that I haven't really talked about before exactly in this way. As a little like salacious in the title of like the $48 billion cover up, right? I don't know that it's really a cover up. That's maybe a little extreme. But here's something that is true as far as I can tell, right? As far as the research that I did, which was a couple quick Google searches. Personal development industry is a $48 billion a year industry. Now, I have been in this game for quite a long time now. Like, I remember the first time I started listening to Tony Robbins was probably 2005, 6, something like that. It's been 20 years. So, I've been playing the personal development game for a long time, and I'm a kind of vivacious learner. Like when I want to learn something, I just go deep on it. And so I've went to every aspect of that kind of thing, hypnosis to meditation to spiritual concepts of all sorts, shapes and sizes, and physical activity for mental, like everything around the mind. I've spent a lot of time doing. I'm not saying I'm like a deep expert this or that. I'm just saying that I've spent a lot of time studying and researching it. Right? I probably know something. And one of the things that is interesting is everybody I talk to, and I've coached a lot of people over the years. I've been blessed to have a lot of students in the marketing space, digital marketing space, and personal development is part of everything that we do. Mindset is important. If you don't have the right mindset, it doesn't matter what skills you have under your tool belt, you're just not going to utilize them appropriately, right? And I still get caught in those traps sometimes, just like anybody else. I'm not here to, uh, uh, say that all of my studying has led me to perfection. It's led me to understanding, and then I can deal with imperfections maybe more elegantly than I would have otherwise, right? But here's the thing that is interesting with coaching, and this is true of like a lot of psychologists as well. Um, Anybody that's a good coach isn't teaching somebody from a lecturing standpoint, right? They're helping them realize it on their own. And a counselor will do this, a good psychologist will do this as well. They'll lead somebody to the conclusion that they can make on their own, because the greatest sale in the world is the one you make yourself, right? When you decide that it's powerful, then it is finally powerful in your life. If you haven't decided that yet, then it's just not, right? Like it's something you're still chasing or looking for, whatever that may be. And of course, the three common buckets are finances, relationships, and health, right? Health, wealth, relationships. Those three buckets kind of encompass most of what we experience in life. Anything that we do is somehow covered by those three things, which is really weird to think about, right? Like, as grand as life is and as many things as there are to do, like, there's just three categories that can kind of define where you're at in life. I don't know what it means. It's just interesting, right? Now, here's the sort of point of this video is not to talk about all of these little nuances and go this way or that way. It's to talk about something that when we get caught in a space of looking for something more, we tend to have this belief that we don't know what to look for, or we don't know the answer, so we must go seek. And that's like an inherent human trait, right? Like without the want to seek and explore, we don't have the life that we have today. We don't have the world that we have today. But there's something different about seeking things for ourselves rather than seeking things in the world. And I'll tell you the difference here. Like, if I want to discover a new land, I just have to go there, right? Like, it's very obvious what to do. Well, let's just go explore and see if we can find a new land, right? The plan is in the actual intention, right? Now, we tend to get caught up differently when we have trouble with things and we're not finding what we're looking for, and we're going, man, how do I get a deeper, more meaningful relationship? How do I make more money than I'm currently making? I've only got so much time, right? We get into these little bit more complex problems where we feel like the answer isn't as clear as, if I want to discover a new land, I just go discover new land, right? Like I just go walk around until I find some. Um, that doesn't feel like the same thing is true when we take it into these more complex things, especially when we get emotions involved. Once we get emotions involved, our feelings start to get a lot more complex. And here's what I've come to in this. And this kind of invalidates a lot of personal development on its face, but it doesn't actually invalidate it in reality. I'll explain here in a second. Um, I think personal development is a fantastic thing. I don't want to throw shade at it. I think there's some people that do it really well and teach it really well. I think there's other people that are, riding a trend or maybe not as genuine as they would present themselves to be. Doesn't matter. You being on a journey of personal development, I think, is a good thing. But here's what I want you to really sit and contemplate if you're taking anything out of this or into this. I want you to think about this from the standpoint that you already know what to do, right? So, like, what if you approached the problem? Hey, you know what? I really have this relationship thing that I'd like to sort out. I already know what to do. What is that? Right? If you start approaching your problem, the personal development problems, with this idea of you already know what to do, you're going to find out that it's mostly true, right? Like, there's only so many things you're going to do and that you've ever seen in your life that affect how a relationship can go, right? So, like, you might not understand why you're not optimized in this, why you're not good at it versus know what to do. Well, that becomes self-informing as well, right? Like, as soon as you realize that you do know what to do, and then you realize you're not good at that, then you know what to do to get good at it, right? It's built into the whole thing. And this is kind of the funny thing with life, is that you already know what it's all about, right? But, like, we want to get caught up in these intellectual ideas and these thoughts and these emotions, and that's a good thing. They're there for a reason. They're part of life for a reason, right? They color the reality that we have in interesting and personalized ways. But you already know what to do. And what my fear is in personal development is that very few people in that world have given you the idea that that's true, right? It's always there's some other thing that you didn't know. Now, I do believe that optimizations are born out of certain things that you don't know, right? Like, you may not understand that this particular strategy on communication is the thing that's going to give you a leg up. And learning that knowledge from somebody who does personal development training can be fantastic, right? Can absolutely, I mean, I've got tons of little tricks like that. But it doesn't mean that I never knew, it doesn't mean that I was, like, lost on what needed to be accomplished, right? In that, like, I already understood that there was a path to it and that I've already seen people do it, right? Because you can't have this idea without having seen other people do it. Like, a lot of times it comes down to, like, well, I see this person do it so easy. How come it's so difficult for me? These things become negative towards ourselves, and they cause us to believe that we don't know something that is quite a bit different than just not practicing it, right? So, how do we get past that thing? Well, first off, it starts with acknowledging that you already know. There's nothing here that I can teach you or that anybody else can teach you. Like, for real. I want you to, like, just comprehend that for a minute, because, the immediate impulse might be to push back and say, well, like, somebody's got to teach me calculus if I need to know calculus. Okay, fine. Like, there's a certain bank of knowledge that you need, or nuanced knowledge that you need in a direction that you go. But the fact that you know it proves my point, right? You already know the path. You already know what to do. You're already smart enough. And here's the truth. I was explaining this to my son over the weekend. When I was his age, I did not have the same access to information as my parents did. It was a different world, right? We didn't have the internet. Internet was just coming online, right? And like, sure, there was books in bookstores, and there was things like that, but there also wasn't the cultural movement of information to inspire that. It was still heavily taught to us about school and go to college, and this is how you gain the knowledge. I learned very early on that I could gain more through on-the-job experience than I could any other way, right? And that was just my own revelation in it, where I went, oh, well, this is the way to do it then. I just go get work in this area, and I'll learn it really fast. Not particularly, like, it's not a major insight or anything. It just happened to be something that I keyed into quicker than, I guess, looking back, than I expect or that I've seen other people do. But it didn't, that served me in certain ways. But here's the truth today. This is what I'm actually trying to get to. I'm stumbling over words at the moment. Uh, my son lives in a world where he's got the same information as the smartest person on earth. Legitimately. Like, they may not have the same experience, but he has the same information as the smartest people on earth, barring anything that's been hidden from the public, right? Government secrets or whatever. But let's just say fundamentally that's mostly true. Then the only thing that can really be true in any meaningful way is that he already knows what to do. And at this stage in the game, so do you. Because the information isn't hidden anymore. It's not intangible. It's not in some other place. You could say, well, this person really motivates me and that's why I'm attracted to him. That's great. I love that, right? There's a reason that so many people love people like Tony Robbins. He's insanely like he draws people in. He has an attraction factor to the things that he's talking about. And because he helps people break down this whole idea in a nuanced fashion, they get the benefit of it. It's great. I got no quarrels with it, but I don't want it to overshadow that you already know what to do. You already know how to start walking the path, whatever it is. You want better health, you know how to start walking the path. And if you don't, and you tell me that you've never heard of a Google search or that you've never been on YouTube, right? I'm just not going to believe you. And you might overcomplicate it. That's true. You might make it something different. You might actually want three things instead of one, and you don't know how those things work together and being confused about it. Those are all possibilities, and those are all places where like certain coachings and stuff can help you sort that stuff out. But here's the truth. You know what to do. You just do. They're like, I have never talked to anybody who is like, well, I don't know what to do. I mean, like I've got a coaching student she wrote a book and she's like, okay, well, I got to sell this. I don't know what to do. And I'm like, yeah, you do. Well, what do you mean? Well, like, where do people sell books? Amazon. Oh, you're right. I just put it on Amazon. Right? Like there's this weird thing of where we stop in our minds and discount the idea that we know what to do. The information is so profoundly out there. It's so pervasive in our, is that the right use of that word? Uh, um, it's so intertwined with our life these days, particularly in a country like the United States, but also any civilized country, right? All of Europe and I mean, the everybody. I mean, everybody's online, right? There's maybe like the Southeastern Asian countries. There's maybe like a large population that's not online. They say like half the world. Maybe Africa has some challenges with that as well. But like most of the world, this information is universal, accessible, and there's nothing. I told my son over the weekend, there is no knowledge that I have that you don't have access to, and not because of me. He doesn't have access through me. He has access through the entire scope of this whole interconnected knowledge based society that we have. And he was asking sort of like, well, what's he's gonna be 21 here in June, and his question was sort of like, what's my Bitcoin? Since I've been paying attention to this stuff for the last 2-3 years, like, there I couldn't have got in early on Bitcoin and made a whole bunch of money. And I said, well, here's the deal. That's true with every single generation. There's always been something that they could have gotten in on, right? For me, I remember back when I was his age, it was eBay, it was Amazon, Google started to come out. And these things, nobody predicted that these would be cultural movements, right? That these companies would one day essentially run the world, right? Apple wasn't even in the spectrum, barely at that point, right? Like, I mean, iPods. I don't remember what year iPods came on the scene, but it was definitely long after Amazon made a big splash, and eBay particularly was a huge one, right? Remember my friend's dad saying if I'd bet everything on eBay, like he'd be worth hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, right? Um, so his point was like, well, what's my unique advantage or what's the thing? And I said, well, first off, there's always another one coming if you're paying attention. But I told him, I said, it's your ability to leverage the amount of knowledge you have in front of you, period. Because you already know what to do. Like, even in his case, I'm like, dude, you know what to do. Go research. Like, it's not that people want to like imagine that there's this just place where they leap to, and they don't do it intentionally. It's just sort of like, I have this gap of where I don't know what to do. And what I want to remind you of is that you know exactly what to do almost every time. You know that there is that there's information out there. You know there's people you can talk to, and even more than that, you intuitively know what the steps are. Right? Oh, I want to be healthier. Probably shouldn't eat donuts today. Probably should go for a walk. Maybe I should eat some broccoli. Right? Like that knowledge is so general now that like you don't have to question how to be healthy. Everybody can get instantly healthier today if they just decide that that's what they want to do, right? There isn't a big knowledge gap there. It's funny how many health products are sold, right? Like it literally is just that simple. Like you want to be healthier, like just move your body more and eat less. You'll be instantly healthier. Um, Relationships, you want to have better relationships, like pay more attention to your partner, maybe, right? Like there's a place to start. And that's basic knowledge at this point. That's not profound. At one point in time, it was profound, right? There was a different culture then, but like we know too much about people now. You want to make more money? Uh, how many times are you offering somebody to buy your stuff? Like if you want to make more money, you have to sell more things, right? Now let's say you work a job and it's hourly. How am I increasing my value? Like these things are basic at this point. More money is based on more value. Now, certainly there are some nuances to this optimization, right? There are some things that you would think about money that you would expect to be true that aren't. So that doesn't mean that there's no place for coaching. That's where I think optimization makes sense. But at the end of the day, if you're pursuing higher value interactions around financial transactions, you're probably going to make more money. Like it's not it's not a grand intuition, right? It's a basic understanding of everything that you see. Like, well, that person makes a lot of money. Well, what do? Well, they ask everybody if they want to buy it. Huh? That's some information. Oh, I don't want to do that. Okay, well, that's going to challenge your ability to make more money. Like, it's not. There's no judgment. It's not right or wrong. But like, okay, so what do I do if I don't want to ask people to buy my stuff, but I want to make more money? Well, you know what to do there as well, right? You either sort out that particular problem or you find somebody who does want to ask people to buy your stuff all the time and you split the money with them, right? Like we have so much information that the most basic, like disconnected person, the person who's not even on the internet today, knows what to do in these circumstances. So that's all I wanted to give you was kind of like me just beating the drum on this idea that you already know what to do. Like, don't let this thing stop you of like, oh, I got to go learn a thing. Go do the thing and find out what you need to learn. Trust me, like if you make that flip, go do the thing and find out what you need to learn. You will learn faster, you will have success faster, and you will be in a better spot no matter what. Even if there's uncomfortable conversations that lead from it. Like maybe you don't know how to, pay more attention to your partner the right way and it leads to an uncomfortable conversation. Great. Now you can sort that out and move through it. It's not about avoiding the most it's not about avoiding the most chaos, and it's not about gaining the most gain possible. Those are in full optimization modes. When we're talking about knowing what to do, it's just about walking through the jungle. You know how to do that. You know how to navigate north, right? Like chop your path, and there's going to be some obstacles that come up, but you're going to know how to handle those too. And if you get really into it, you get really stuck, go find optimization. There's no problem with learning new things. Just don't discount what you already know how to do. And don't discount that you already understand how to go there. I tell you, the most successful people I know are people that already understand this for real. Like um, um, I watch certain people in business that just overcomplicate the crap out of certain things that don't do anything to make extra money. And it's because they're trying to accomplish something different. They want an ego on it, or they want to be seen in a certain way instead of just being effective at making money. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. Like status is a fine thing, but they confuse the two, right? If I brought this up to them, they would know exactly what to do. That's what I'm talking about. When you're faced with a problem, you know exactly what to do. Period. It's just not a problem anymore to know what steps you need to take, what direction you need to go, how you go about solving a problem. And I think that that's not talked about enough right now. So I decided to talk about it for a minute. I appreciate you watching. We'll see you guys again soon, I think.